After 28 years, a shocking revelation has emerged regarding the tragic death of JonBenet Ramsey, as her brother has finally broken his silence. JonBenet Patricia Ramsey was born on August 6, 1990, in Atlanta, Georgia, into a family that would soon be at the center of one of America's most publicized criminal investigations. Her parents, Patsy and John Ramsey, were prominent figures. John was a successful businessman and president of Access Graphics, a multi-million-dollar computer services company, while Patsy, a former Miss West Virginia, had a background in pageantry. Their affluent lifestyle provided JonBenet with a privileged upbringing. She had an older brother, Burke Ramsey, who was 3 years her senior, and 2 adult half-siblings from her father's previous marriage, offering her both guidance and an extended family network. The Ramseys lived comfortably in a large, upscale home in Boulder, Colorado, where JonBenet's childhood was marked by her parents' devoted attention and encouragement of her interests. JonBenet was known from a young age as a bright, outgoing child with natural charm and a vivacious personality. An extrovert who loved being the center of attention, her infectious smile and bouncy blonde hair made her easily recognizable. By age 6, she had already achieved notable success in child beauty pageants, winning multiple titles that showcased her charisma and poise. The pageant circuit was a significant part of her life, where she excelled, enjoying elaborate costumes and sparkling outfits. Beyond pageants, JonBenet attended kindergarten at High Peaks Elementary School in Boulder, enjoying a typical innocent childhood. However, this idyllic life ended horrifyingly on December 26, 1996, a date etched forever in the memories of her family and the nation. On that cold winter morning, Patsy Ramsey discovered a 3-page handwritten ransom note on their kitchen staircase, demanding exactly $118,000, amount suspiciously close to John Ramsey's reported year-end bonus. The note instructed that the money be delivered for JonBenet's safe return. Realizing her daughter was missing, Patsy immediately contacted the police. The discovery of the ransom note initiated a frantic investigation. Tragically, later that same afternoon, the nightmare deepened when John Ramsey found JonBenet's lifeless body hidden in their basement. She had suffered severe trauma, including a fractured skull, and had been brutally assaulted. The investigation revealed she had been sexually assaulted and then strangled with a garrote fashioned from a cord and her mother's broken paintbrush handle. Despite the sexual assault, forensic experts found no conclusive evidence of rape. The official cause of death was asphyxia by strangulation associated with craniocerebral trauma, confirming homicide. Following the tragic events, JonBenet was laid to rest with solemnity at St. James Episcopal Cemetery in Marietta, Georgia. Next, to her elder half-sister, Elizabeth Pask Ramsey, who had died in a car crash for years prior at age 22. This family graveyard became a poignant reminder of the Ramseys' deep sorrow and the loss of 2 beloved daughters under heartbreaking circumstances. The investigation into JonBenet Ramsey's death was marred from the outset by numerous critical mistakes that severely compromised the integrity of the evidence and the case's progress. Police initially presumed JonBenet had been kidnapped rather than immediately considering a violent crime within the home, leading to poor scene management. Crucially, the entire house was not treated as a potential crime scene. Only JonBenet's bedroom was cordoned off. This failure allowed for potential contamination and tampering of evidence. As family members and others moved freely throughout the house, possibly disturbing crucial forensic traces, This lack of control over the crime scene is widely cited by forensic experts as one of the most significant errors. Furthermore, John and Patsy Ramsey were permitted to move JonBenét's body from the basement where it was found instead of waiting. For forensic experts, destroying important evidence about how and where she was killed and potentially obscuring precise details of the crime. Adding to these flaws, the parents were interviewed together rather than separately, violating standard investigative protocol that dictates individual interviews to prevent coordinated stories or undue influence, likely affecting the veracity of their testimonies. The infamous ransom note added another layer of mystery and controversy. Its unusual length, approximately 2.5 pages, was atypical for a hurried demand, and the paper belonged to the Ramsey household, raising suspicions of fabrication or staging by someone inside the house. Linguistic experts and handwriting analysts debated whether the note was genuinely from an outsider or someone within the family. Its meticulousness contrasted sharply with the urgency expected from an actual kidnapper under pressure. Forensic analysis also revealed that fibers from the duct tape used to bind JonBenét's body matched fibers found on Patsy Ramsey's clothing, an alarming connection suggesting a link between the family and the means of restraint. Despite these troubling signs, there were no indications of forced entry into the Ramsey home, and no one outside the immediate family was reported to be in the house during the early morning hours. This further cast suspicion on the family, as it seemed improbable that a stranger could have entered and left unnoticed. Compounding this, no actual contact was made to the parents demanding ransom, which is highly unusual in genuine kidnapping cases, suggesting the note might have been a deliberate attempt to mislead investigators and cover up the true circumstances of JonBenét's death, although several circumstantial indicators pointed towards John and Patsy Ramsey as potential suspects. Law enforcement and forensic scientists could not conclusively link them to the crime. In 1998, the district attorney announced that DNA testing on samples recovered from the crime scene did not implicate any immediate family members, shifting some focus away from the Ramseys, but providing no clear alternative suspect, leaving the case in limbo. The inconclusive nature of the forensic evidence frustrated both investigators and the public. Despite widespread media scrutiny and public suspicion, official legal proceedings took a different course. The Boulder County grand jury voted to indict the parents for their alleged involvement, but then Boulder District Attorney Alex Hunter decided against pressing charges in December 1999, citing insufficient evidence to meet the standard for prosecution. This decision sparked intense debate and controversy, with many believing the parents had been shielded from accountability. Years later, in 2003, advances in DNA technology led to new developments. DNA samples from JonBenét's clothing and the crime scene matched an unknown male whose genetic profile did not belong to any family member or known suspect. This discovery suggested a stranger unrelated to the Ramseys could have been responsible. Following this revelation, the Boulder Police Department publicly apologized to John and Patsy Ramsey, effectively clearing their names in the eyes of the law. Feeling vindicated but deeply affected by years of public accusation, the Ramseys filed defamation lawsuits against various media organizations that had alleged their involvement, seeking to restore their reputations. Nearly 3 decades have passed since the tragic and mysterious death of 6-year-old beauty queen JonBenet Ramsey gripped the nation, becoming one of American history's most haunting and unresolved cases. For 28 long years, speculation, theories, and unanswered questions have persisted, with a shadow of doubt looming over the investigation. Media coverage and, most notably, the Ramsey family itself. Now, in a revelation that has stunned millions, JonBenet's older brother, Burke Ramsey, has finally broken his long-held silence, stepping out from the shroud of mystery that has surrounded him since that fateful Christmas night in 1996. His unexpected decision to speak publicly has triggered renewed attention and emotional reflection. Burke, who was just 9 years old at the time of his sister's murder, has spent most of his life in seclusion, avoiding the press and refusing to directly confront the swirling allegations and public speculation that often centered around him. Over the years, documentaries, news specials, and online communities have debated his possible role or knowledge, despite no formal charges ever being filed against him or any other family member. This silence, whether self-imposed or advised, only intensified the intrigue and fueled conspiracy theories across media and internet forums.